Hospitals on high alert as Rivers State government asks health facilities in the state to look out for any person with injuries suspected to be caused by explosives. A report sent to the government following a suspected failed attempt to detonate an explosive in Port Harcourt. Organized labor may continue their wait for announcement of a new minimum wage proposal by the president, who is said to further consult with stakeholders over the pending issue. Hello and welcome to Politics Today, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzong, and of course, it's Politics. Today on the program, we will be exploring what is going on in Rivers State. There has been no end, literally, since this pandemonium or political imbroglio, as we call it, since last year. Literally, there appears to be no other week or no other day when there is no one commentary or the other from Rivers State. And we've seen the police say no one should protest, no one should do any form of march or the other. As much as everybody has a right to do whatever they want to do, it has to be within the ambit of the law. And given the sensitivity of what is going on in the state, everybody should just hold their fire, if you will. However, we've seen marches and protests. Yesterday, we saw protests. Today, we're seeing marches in solidarity of one cause or the other. And then this incident, whether it's an explosive or not, but the government has actually spoken when we understand that someone was actually injured trying to detonate an explosive. All of that, the state government will be able to give an explainer. Of course, if you go to the nation's capital, the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, they are meeting, and there's some disruption happened at the gates, and certain people protesting over that leadership. It's been a lingering issue. So there's the Labour Party, there's the Obedient Movement, and then there's the NLC. So it's a convolution of issues where we will try as much as possible to explore that today as well on the program. But first, let's tell you that the federal government or the Federal Executive Council has stepped down consideration and deliberation on the memo on the new minimum wage to allow President Bola Tinubu consult further. The Minister of Information disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents on the decision taken at the council meeting. It said the president has studied the report submitted by the tripartite committee on minimum wage and will consult further before final submission. A new national minimum wage is presented to the National Assembly.
And then there was a memo to discuss that at the Federal Executive Council meeting. I want to inform Nigerians here that the Federal Executive Council deliberated on that, and the decision is that because the new national minimum wage is not just that of the federal government, it is an issue that involves the federal government, the state governments, local governments, and the organized private sector, and of course, including the organized labor. That memo was stepped down to enable Mr. President to consult further, especially with the state governors and the organized private sector, before he makes a presentation to the National Assembly.
But away from that, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is apparently unhappy over what he considers the overbearing influence of state governments in distorting the legacy modalities of enthroning traditional stools. The presidential candidate in the last general election says he recognizes the role of the state and especially local governments in traditional institutions. It must be done to engender peace and stability. In a post on X, he explains that traditional institutions must be protected from the arbitrariness of state governments that threaten their stability. When the structure of ascension of traditional rulers is unstable, it will become equally difficult to maintain peace and orderliness in communities. Mr. Atiku believes traditional institutions are key to preservation of heritage, stability, and peace, and appeals to state government to accord the institution the needed respect. His views perhaps comes on the heels of what's been playing out in Kano Emirate tussle and the recent concern over the dethronement of the Sultan of Sokoto, which the state government has actually denied. Let's now head to Rivers State, where we can tell you that a manhunt has been launched by the Rivers State government for a man who attempted to detonate explosive near Hotel Presidential in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The incident occurred earlier today, with many suggesting that the unidentified man was part of a group of people participating in a political rally. That's even a contentious position right now. He's believed to have sustained severe injuries during the failed attempt and was quickly taken away from the scene by others. The Commissioner for Health in the state, Dr. Daisy Ore, called for the arrest of any patient with injuries suspected to be caused by explosives.
The Hotel Presidential Axis of Port Harcourt earlier today, where there was a malicious attempt to detonate an explosive at that axis of the state. Fortunately, it was not successful. It was a failed attempt, but in the process, the individual sustained an injury with a traumatically dismembered upper limb, and the individual was immediately whisked away from the site or from the location. Now, the Rivers State government, the Rivers State Ministry of Health, is calling for an alert to all medical facilities in the state, both public and privately owned facilities, to be vigilant and look out for an individual, a young man, with a traumatically dismembered upper limb, because this injury which was sustained, they will require medical attention. If such an individual and their accomplices are to present at any of the facilities, immediately notify the Commissioner for Police, Rivers State, and the Rivers State Ministry of Health. The individual should be detained at whatever medical facility and the report immediately made to the Commissioner of Police and, I repeat, the Rivers State Ministry of Health.
Well, that's the Commissioner for Health in Rivers State talking about that explosive that occurred earlier today. Rivers State is going to be in focus yet again on the program today. We were supposed to talk about a part of it yesterday, but it was overtaken by a few events. But hopefully we should have that conversation today to really find out the security situation. There are a couple of concerns, even beyond the politics, that we need to explore today on the program. But first, let's bring you other political roundup stories.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has dismissed the report that the 10th Senate is proposing that the federal government should procure new aircraft for President Bola Tinubu and his vice, Senator Kashim Shettima. Speaking to newsmen in Maiduguri shortly after leading a delegation to pay a condolence visit to Senator Tahir Mongono over the death of his father, Senator Akpabio noted that the report is false. The President of the Senate adds that the report was from propagandists and fifth columnists, stressing that the Senate was focused on delivering legislation that will support the actualization of President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Senator Akpabio, who expressed satisfaction with the present security situation of Borno State, urged Nigerians to continue to pray for the present administration. The Nigeria Employees Consultative Association, NECA, is strongly advising President Bola Tinubu and the National Assembly against passing the bill that will recommend a new national minimum wage that is above 62,000 naira. The Director General of NECA, Mr. Adewale Smartun-Yeride, gave the advice on the sideline of the ongoing Nigeria Employees Summit in Abuja. According to him, the 62,000 naira proposal by the government and the organized private sector is the best offer that can be sustained at the moment.
The true measure of these reforms lie in their effective implementation and the tangible benefits they deliver to businesses and citizens alike.
Top political leaders from the different wards of Obiakpo have shown their solidarity for the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike in the protest march. The protesters were at the Rumeme Civic Center in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, as they are demanding that the Inspector General of Police should continue to occupy the councils and not succumb to any form of intimidation. In attendance are the Minority Leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ogundu Chinda, Factional Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, Martin Zamewele, and former Council Chairman, George Ariolu. Meanwhile, the River State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Olatunji Disu, has assured residents of the state that the Nigeria Police will continue to maintain law and order across the length and breadth of the state. Mr. Disu stated this in Port Harcourt while addressing a solidarity march by members of the National Youth Council of Nigeria.
Rivers State is a very, very important state to the economy of our great nation, Nigeria, and there must not be breakdown of law and order.
In the meantime, the Police Service Commission has announced the conclusion of a routine maintenance of its portal containing the list of successful candidates for the recently concluded recruitment into the Constable Cadre of the Nigeria Police. A statement signed by the spokesman of the Commission, Mr. Ike Chukwani, says the Commission has not and will not cancel the final list of successful candidates from the recruitment exercise, which was conducted in clear adherence to relevant guidelines and provisions of the law. On a sad note, the Nigeria Customs Service has announced the death of its Deputy Controller in charge of revenue in the account unit, Etop Essien. Mr. Essien, who was in charge of the reconciliation of revenue for the service, passed away earlier today while making presentations before the National Assembly House Committee on Public Accounts. A statement by the National Public Relations Officer of the service, Abdullahi Mewada, explains that approximately 3 minutes into his presentation, the Deputy Controller Essien requested water and showed signs of discomfort. Despite immediate efforts to assist him, he unfortunately passed on. The statement further notes that the Akwa Ibom State senior officer will be remembered for diligence and exceptional service record in the accounts unit.
Nobody wins when music changes to a war song, which is why we always try to bring all sides to have a conversation on the way forward as far as peace is concerned. Rivers State has been in the news literally just few months into the administration of Siminalayi Fubara, the governor of the state. The feud between himself and his, would you call it erstwhile, or his political godfather, it has metamorphosed into several dimensions, and now it has taken a security concern, which is why we had to pull in the men in charge of security to give us perspective as to what exactly is going on and what the force is doing to avoid further breakdown of law and order. As a matter of fact, we can confirm from our correspondent that an explosion killed someone in Port Harcourt today. As much as we get the details, we'll let you know. But let's bring in our guest, the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, CP Tunji Diso. Commissioner, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
All right. Let's begin with few confirmations and a few things that we need clarity. I'm sure you were watching, you'd have seen the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adeze, talking about the search for a certain young man who was trying to detonate an explosive, but it was a failed attempt, and the hospitals in the state have now been put on high alert to find out anybody who has that kind of injury. And then we just confirmed or got information that someone died. So what do you know from the police end as far as this particular latest issue is concerned?
Sometime around 11, 12 o'clock today, we got that same information that 4 persons in a white Corolla vehicle somewhere along Aba Road stopped their vehicle and there was an explosion. And information we gathered was that 2 of the occupants of the vehicle were injured, while 2 others came out, put them in the vehicle and drove off, out of town, so to say. We have triggered all necessary units of the Nigerian police force within the state to be on the lookout for this vehicle and the victims in case they are going for treatment anywhere. At the same time, we have brought in officers in charge of the bomb squad to the area, and they have been there and they have done wonderful jobs. They have been able to gather particles, and then to confirm it that some particles that indicate IED have been discovered. And then by the end of tomorrow, we should be able to confirm to you the kind of IED that has been exploded today.
So for clarity, is this related? Because, you know, we hear initial report. As things unfold, we get clarification as to what is what. Is this related to the protest that happened or the march that happened today, or this is an isolated case?
I wouldn't know. I would not want to confirm that. The information at my disposal was that they were in a vehicle, they stopped very close to the, not too far from the presidential hotel where the explosion took place. I will not want to relate it to that yet. We are gathering information. We have talked to people around there. the police bomb squad are there, and a team has been dedicated to give me information before the end of it today.
All right, CP, I know that the police had given a release kind of to tell everybody to just calm down a little while the police do their job in restoring peace to the area. But that has also been received with division across board. And the labor union, I think, and the TUC and some groups were supposed to protest, but they called it off. But we now saw that the 21 local government chairmen, the former local government chairmen, some of them led protests across the state. We've also seen a march today in Obiakpor local government. What happened to the instruction you gave?
The directive we gave, or rather the statement made by us, came up after the claim that they were coming out to demonstrate against police officers who have been posted to guard all the local governments. The statement advised them to stop the protest as we are afraid that it could be hijacked by any other persons. And we will not want any situation that will bring breakdown of peace in the state. That was the statement we made.
Yeah, that was the statement you made, but we're seeing protests and march, which is why I'm asking you, what now happens to that statement?
Yes, we have our men out. We have warned them and we continue to do that. We have never said nobody should protest. We have never said that nobody should protest. We warn them not to do this so that it will not be hijacked. We have taken note of everyone who came out today. We have gotten across to them, and we have continued to warn and advise them at the same time that we don't want to encourage people moving around so that it will not be hijacked by other parties.
So let's talk about that barricade. The workers are saying, and it's quite a difficult position I can imagine for the police at this point. The workers are saying, you are infringing on their right to do their work. You are saying you have to keep barricading for the purpose of ensuring the avoidance of breakdown of law and order. How long are you going to stay at that position, not allowing people to enter the headquarters of the local government area?
Let me try and explain the situation. The local government is in contention. There are two parties fighting to take hold of the local government. I think the best thing for us to do at this particular moment is to ensure that we hold it, we seal it, we do not allow any of them to come in. Because if we allow any of them to come in, the other parties to come and attack them. And don't forget, our duties are to protect lives and property. And that is exactly what we're doing. The Inspector General of Police have reiterated this. They have said it again and again, that we should continue to remain there as long as the crisis remains the way it is.
So the status quo that was stated by the court, so when the police is acting by the directive of the IGP or those in authority at the police hierarchy, what document do you look at when everybody is saying, it is my right to do this or the other, in this case, to enter the local government secretariat? What do you rely on to say you can't or you should, or I'm not infringing on your right to do what you want?
What we rely on are the duties of the Nigerian police force. And that states protect lives and property. And that is exactly what we're doing.
The reason I ask that question is because some people are saying police is taking sides. When you hear those kind of positions, what explanation do you give?
I've just explained it to you. What is the problem we have at hand? Crisis that has to do with the local government. This party says I should be in charge of the local government at this particular time. And the other party says the same thing too. They are fighting over heading the local government. And if we allow both of them to go in, definitely there will be breakdown of law and order. So what is the right thing for us to do? Go in there, prevent them from coming in there until the proper thing is done. So I think we are not taking sides with anybody. Our duties are to protect lives and property, and that is exactly what we're doing. If you allow them to go in, definitely everybody knows there will be clashes and there will be loss of life.
So, for the benefit of the audience and the public, which areas are of big concern to you? I know every part is of importance, given the fact that there's a rivalry here and there, but in any situation in your analytics, I know there are hot spots. Which areas are you really concerned about, and what level of deployment are you putting out?
I don't want to give any priority to any side. I'm taking everything equal because I've been surprised in one or two areas where I do not expect trouble. I've seen it. So what we have done is directed all our DPOs, our area commanders, to put in equal effort in ensuring that they safeguard all the local government areas within the state.
Okay, let's talk about we'll come back to this issue of the local government areas as much as possible. But maybe staying on it, I saw a video of one guy. He says he's a warlord. I think General Asabuja, something like that. There are a lot of very, strong rhetoric in response to the former chairman of Ikwere local government, Samuel Nwanosike, and those exchanges, those strong rhetorics. What is the police doing to make sure that, because things like this, we've seen it escalate. What are you doing to de-escalate it beyond just positioning at these local government headquarters? Because this is quite important. These are the things that trigger action.
Yes, you have mentioned it, that is correct. That video caused a lot of panic in the States. It gave a lot of concern to everybody, even out of the States. I want to assure you that we are not going to take kindly to that. We have put in actions in motion. We'll get him at the appropriate time. We have gotten a lot of people of his kind. You cannot come, prepare videos, and start firing and threatening people not to move around and do what they are expected to do in the town and expect the police to fold their hands. We are working towards it. We have invited him. He has refused to come, and then we'll do what we are supposed to do. We are looking out for him.
So is he a wanted man in your books?
That is correct. He's wanted. That is correct.
So General Asabuja is wanted by the Nigerian police force in Rivers State?
That I confirm to you.
All right. So let's, as I said, we'll come back. I just needed to get out of my way. Let's go back to something that happened in Onne. We saw videos as well emanating where we saw weapons, ammunition, and all of that, guns, if we use that word. Now, a lot of them. Some things that look like pump action. I'm not a policeman, so I don't know the categories of guns yet. Can you confirm what that video is really? Is it really from an airport? What exactly is that video really all about? Because sometimes we see videos and it's denied that it doesn't come from here or the other. So what is the statement of the police concerning that particular video?
Sincerely, I will not want to give you a statement 100% pertaining to it. The only thing I will want to mention to you is that we have a commissioner of police in charge of that port. And that incident, I will confirm to you, yes, I've spoken to the commissioner of police, and then the commissioner of police in charge of the port is liaising with the customs. And at the appropriate time, the customs and the police will come up with a statement on it.
All right, CP, let's now talk about the action that we expect. The Court of Appeal has not sat on those consolidated appeals, which we hear that part of the reason the police is holding off and not allowing people entry is to wait for the determination of court so that at least there's a legal backing to whatever action you are taking in terms of, there's a legal action for providing peace. I must state that. I'm talking about when there's a court decision or a court ruling. What are the proactive measures? Because when there's a court ruling or a court judgment, somebody will win, somebody will lose. And in this case, everybody's grandstanding, saying that they have a strong position. Proactive measures the police is putting ahead of that to avoid things from escalating.
Yes, we have our legal team following up the case in court so that we will not be taken by surprise when the judgment will come. We have our police officers put on red alert. All the DPOs have been informed. And then we are having regular meetings with the police officers, and that's our senior police officers, our management team. And the Inspector General of Police have assisted the command by directing 5 squadrons to join us for deployment. As of now, we have a lot of police officers on the ground. A lot of places have been covered, and then we are ready to go for the judgment anytime it comes.
As we begin to wind down, CP, what conversation, the level of collaboration between you and the state government as far as this is concerned? Because I know that the governor said, go to work. Later I said, don't break in, you can operate from anywhere. But he's the chief security officer of Rivers State. What conversations are you having to make sure that everybody is brought on board? Because most times we hear governors say, we've heard a governor say, people have come to negotiate with bandits in his state and he was not aware. In this case, we don't expect that to happen in Rivers State. So what is the level of collaboration between government and the police?
We have a wonderful collaboration. I talk with the governor of the state almost every day. And then whenever there's an emergency, I quickly run down to him and discuss issues with him. And then he called me, he told me one or two things. And one of the things he mentioned was that he has directed his supporters to go about their businesses lawfully, that he will not be happy if any of them took laws into their hands, and that if I come across any of his supporters misbehaving, I should take the appropriate actions. We had wonderful collaboration, we had wonderful meetings, and then we have had our security meetings as well involving all other security agencies, where the situation of things are discussed with the governor, and every other security agencies have been cooperating with me. They have been cooperating and sending troops to assist me as well. So far, so good. We are all working towards ensuring peace in the state.
CB, final question, I promise on this one. Are you prepared for strong response, and to what extent, if things, like you say, surprise you, any surprises pop up?
We are very ready. We have thought about a lot of things that could be surprised at the end of the day. We have had simulations, officers have been trained, and they have been told of what could happen at any time. For your information, we have regular meetings with all officers on the field. They no longer need to come to the headquarters for meeting. We hold regular meetings on Zoom and other gadgets that have just been provided by the Inspector General of Police. We are ready to go. We are ready to ensure we maintain peace. And then if it goes out of hand, we have a lot of officers to come in at any time to bring down any opposition we might have.
CP Tunji Diso, Commissioner of Police in Rivers State. We pray for the peace of Rivers State, and we hope that this doesn't escalate. I wish you and your men the very best.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation about what are the scenarios and what we could do to further engender peace in Rivers State. Join us again. Welcome back. Just before I speak to my guests yet again from Rivers State, let's tell you that members of the Nigeria Labour Congress National Transition Committee had stormed the headquarters of the Labour Party in Abuja, demanding for the immediate resignation of the national chairman of the party, Mr. Julius Abure. The acting chairman of the Transition Committee, Mr. Abdulwahid Omar, led members of the Labour Union to the Secretariat, were seen chanting solidarity songs and calling for Abure's resignation. However, the protesters were dispersed by police as unions attempted to breach the gates of the Secretariat, which was closed, to resist the unions from accessing the Secretariat.
Police, please form it. And I've come to start the work of reconciling the family. So these people who are outside are members of the family who we must reconcile with. We must all sit down in the table and decide the future of our family. And that's what we are doing. And that is why I offered them, can we meet here? Which they said to me, maybe we'll schedule another day. I offered them, can we go to the hotel and meet? And I thank you, Chairman. I assure you, I'm ready for the meeting any day that is suitable for you. We must start talking as a family.
Today, that is the end of Abure era. Whether he has sponsors anywhere, we are Nigerians. And we, by the time, well, nobody will tell us how to mobilize in this country. If we can mobilize 100 people, we can mobilize 10,000 people. And we have now seen that it's like he is working with some part of the police unofficially. That is exactly what is happening. We are going to now meet with the highest level of police authority. The tenure of Abure has expired by the 10th of this month. And there's no way we will allow vacuum. And the stakeholders unanimously decided to set up a national transition committee whose duty is only to conduct elections, congresses from the ward level to local government level to state levels, and it will culminate into a national convention that will be free, fair, and transparent, where national officers will be elected freely by members and delegates of the party. And this is exactly what we want, and this we must move ahead, whatever the obstacle.
So there are different lines across the Labour Party. There's the Labour Party, ESCO, there's the NLC faction, there's the Obedient Movement, and all of that. But that is not the conversation we're having right now. We're continuing our conversation with the issue going on in River State. Now we're being joined by the Commissioner for Information, Mr. Joe Johnson. He joins us from Port Harcourt via Zoom. Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Good evening, my brother. Good evening to Nigerians.
All right, we hope the network will allow us to have a clear conversation. But if you can hear me, my first question would be what government is making of what is going on in the state. The police, I just spoke with the CP, and actually he's confirmed that he didn't say nobody should protest, but just advisory that it would be nice if everybody just stay at home and allow the court to do their job. But we've seen protests, we've seen marches, now we've seen an explosion, somebody is on the run perhaps, and all of these elements. What is the government making of the situation?
Well, the government is doing its best situation because as a matter of fact, nobody said it was going to come. And if anything, we are convinced that the police has enough, to forestall whatever was going to come. But I'm a bit worried about the attitudes of the local government chairman whose tenure have long elapsed, and their continual disturbance as if front of the court that had already rested that matter by Justice Q. And the matter with court judgment is that every court judgment must be obeyed. They don't want to obey that one. They're telling us of an appeal that has nothing to do with them. The matter before the Court of Appeal is actually between the Speaker of the Assembly, Right Honorable Local Jumbo, and the embattled Speaker of the River State of Assembly. So I'm wondering which one they are relying on. But whatever it is, the government is up and running, and River people are happy with what is going on.
You know, like we've always said, the argument has always been what exactly is status quo. We know there are 4 appeals at the Court of Appeal which will be decided. One has to do with the Justice Q's decision on the nullifying the amendment to the laws of the local government, Section 9, 2 and 3, as the case may be. The other has to do with the one instituted by Victor Okojombo about the status of Amewule and his colleagues. That has also will be decided. And so when the court says they should maintain status quo, what did the government interpret? Because they feel that appeal means let it go to the former position. You are saying there is a subsisting judgment that you have to hold on to. And the police says, everybody stay away. Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Right, please. Can you hear me? Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Now, you see, when we mix the two matters or all the matters, even though they are consolidated, the Justice Kio's judgment has not been tested. That judgment came on the 22nd of May. Therefore, the one that is before the Court of Appeal are two appeals. One by Right Honorable Okojombo. The other one is by the former or the battle speaker, Amegule. And the court is saying maintain status quo. Status quo in that sense have nothing to do with the Justice Kio's judgment. I think the IGP must have been misinformed to say that it's waiting for judgment of the court. There's no judgment that is coming. In fact, the matter adjourned to the 4th of July is for continuous hearing. We will be hearing, the Court of Appeal will be hearing order on the application that were yet to be filed. There is a matter on the 1st of July, which is on Monday. Those two cases are different. So when they say status quo must be maintained, status quo is to the extent that Okojombo, remember where you are now. Status quo ante and status quo ante are not the same. A court of appeal cannot give you status quo ante. Judgment said that at the expiration of a regime of a local government, the governor has the prerogative of enacting either a caretaker or has a window of 60 days. Therefore, they made that law. That is the law that attempted to repeal, which Justice Kio said they have no right to repeal it, and there's a prohibition on the prospective law. So they're trying to mix apple with mango. The matter before the Court of Appeal has nothing to do with council chairman, as it were. The council chairman, yes, claimed to have gone to appeal on the matter by Justice Kio. That matter is a different matter. It is a matter that is brought before the court by two council chairmen, Okopobo Koramboni, and 5 other functionaries of the local government. So let them not continue to mix it and confuse Rivers people and Nigerians by extension. That matter is...
All right, Mr. Johnson, network, we will try as much as possible to get your perspective. Okay. Can you hear me?
The rule. Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Go ahead, land on your thoughts.
I'm hearing you. Yes, the local government, the law number 2 of local government law number 5 of 2018 was the one that was struck down by Justice Kio, which said it was not known to law. And if the parliament makes the wrong law and the court makes a pronouncement, it means that that law cannot stand. So there's no argument as to caretaker. Caretaker to our own law, and don't forget that the Constitution in Section 7 rests the powers of making laws for proper administration of local government at the level of the House of Assembly. And this assembly was the one who, in their own law, which was enjoyed by former governors Odili, Rotimi Amechi, and even the past governor, who had even dissolved and elected a caretaker, elected the local government administration. The local government administration elected by Rotimi Amechi during the twilight of the administration was dissolved, and caretaker ran for 9 months. So it is in our law. It may not be in the Constitution, but it's in the law made by the Assembly, which Martin attempted to repeal. That's the point I'm trying to make.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you know, the law says, well, the appeal court will make all of that decision as to what will be the final case as to other ones that you talked about. So now that you have this strong position, how long is the government willing to hold off before further directive? As far as this is concerned, the CTC have not gained entrance into the headquarters. The police is still holding on.
for protective custody. I listened to the Commissioner of Police. I cannot add. It's not within my schedule. But the Commissioner of Police has cleared the air. That is not really for anybody. It's only in the interest of the Nigerian people, and it's part of the responsibility of the Nigerian police to protect and property.
Another part I really want to bring to this conversation, as much as time will allow us, is the fact that the People's Democratic Party in the state has been significantly silent to the best of our understanding. I think since Desmond Akawo, ambassador, left for a federal appointment and all of the division happened, we literally haven't seen much or seen anything, close to anything, if you will, when it comes to the actions of the People's Democratic Party. We stand to be corrected. But the only time we heard from whether it's the acting committee of the party or a substantive committee, was when they were joined in the suit that was brought before Justice Gbasa Mokogbule, where he dismissed two prayers that were brought before the appellant and added them as fourth dependent. What is really going on with the PDP in Rivers State, PDP leadership in Rivers State?
I do not brief for the party. I don't talk for the party. I talk for the government. And I will not be able to exceed, go beyond my jurisdiction. But
the reason I'm asking, Mr. Johnson, is because it is a party that midwives the government. So it's important.
PDP is active or not. The important governance is key. And I do not want to think that party politics, what is most important to remember people now, the dividend of democracy, and then see the government up and running.
Oh dear, Mr. Johnson, it's been quite difficult to get all the things you're saying due to network, and we hope we can just hold on to this for as much as we can. The reason I said I was asking the question is because even based on our constitution, it's the party that midwives the government. So when the party is in crisis, for instance, we've seen the APC very vocal. Tony Okocha has been quite vocal. We've had him on programs as well as his PRO, Mr. Ikenga, on different programs here. So which is why I'm talking about this. So that's why everybody's concerned as to the position. Mr. Okocha has even called for a state of emergency, but the PDP has not said anything. Oh dear. Okay, we understand the connection has failed, so we wish we can get Mr. Okocha back. But we'll take this quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Join us again. Welcome back. We're totally out of time. We're thinking that we could get Mr. Okocha, Mr. Joe Johnson, I should say, is the Commissioner for Information, Rivers State, to get his take on the political angle of what is going on in Rivers State. As everybody knows, this stems from the feud between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and his political godson, Governor Siminala Efubara. Well, we really do not know, at least publicly, what the core or the crux of the matter is. There has been some peripheral discussion, suggestions and inferences and nuances around what is going on. But that disagreement, political disagreement, even with the presidential intervention, could not resolve the problem, and things have escalated from one point to the other. Where we are now is the issue of the local government, whether they will have CTC that has been instituted, or the 23 gentlemen will continue their tenure as chairman of local government for next 6 months, as amended by the Martinami Uli House. But that's the situation we found ourselves. But the other disturbing part is the security dimension that we're seeing, which is why I had the conversation with the Commissioner of Police. But hey, our eyes and our ears are on Rivers State to follow up exactly what's going on, as well as across the country. There are 36 states. Whatever is happening in the polity, our responsibility is to bring it right here on the program. But I must thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. Thank you for watching. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.